Hello everyone and welcome to another class of how to create a virtual machine. In our last class we have discussed creating a virtual machine. Today in this class we are going to discuss about its additional configuration details. So let's create an virtual machine first. The instance is being created for us with the name instance1. Zone is US Central 1 and it is being created by us. This is how we can create an instance in our last class. So virtual machine instance, suppose when we created that, now it's test2, it is region and zone, it is selected. So here we have some additional configuration details. Let's see this. First is management tab. So the management tab of the form, it provides a space where we can describe the virtual machine and its use. So we can describe here the virtual machine and its use. We can also create label. We can see here add label. And in this label we can add key value pairs. Key and a value pairs. Labels and a general description are often used to help to manage your virtual machine and understand how they are being used. Labels are particularly important when your number of servers grows. So it is a best practice to include a description and a label for all the virtual machines which are running. If you want to force an extra confirmation before deleting an instance, we can select deletion protection policy, this. If someone tries to delete an instance, the operation will fail if we enable this. We can also specify a startup script to run when the instance starts. Copy the content of the startup script to the script text box. This is startup script. For example, you could paste a bash or a Python script directly into this text box. The metadata section here. Metadata section allows you to specify key value pairs associated with the instance. These values are stored in metadata server, which is available for querying using the Compute Engine API. Metadata tags are especially useful if you have a common script you want to run on a startup or shutdown, but you want the behavior of the script to vary according to some values. Now we have availability policy, this. Preemptibility. Which when enabled, it allows Google to shut down the server with a 30-second notice. In return, the cost of preemptible server is much lower than the non-preemptible servers. Automatic restarts, which indicates if the server stops because of the hardware failure, maintenance events and some other non-user control event. On-host maintenance, which indicates whether the virtual server should be migrated to another physical server when the maintenance event occurs. So this is a tab which is management tab. Let's move to the next, which is security tab. In the security section, you can specify if you want to use shielded virtual machine and SSH keys, secure shell keys. shielded virtual machines are configured to have additional security mechanisms that you can choose to run. It includes secure boot. Secure boot ensures that the only authenticated operating system software runs on the virtual machine. It does this by checking the digital signatures of the software. If the signature check fails, the boot process will halt. Then we have turn on VTPM, which is Virtual Trusted Platform Module. It is a virtualized version of a Trusted Platform Module, TPM. A TPM is a specialized computer chip designed to protect security resources like keys and certificates. Then we have integrity monitoring. It uses a known good baseline of the boot measurement to compare the recent boot measurements. If check fails, there is some difference between the baseline measurement and the current measurements. The Google Cloud Platform supports project-wise SSH keys, which are used to give the user project-wide access to virtual machines. You can block that behavior at a virtual machine if you use these keys and do not want project users to have access to these keys. Third is a disk. With this configuration tab, you also have the option of adding a new disk or attaching an additional disk. We can add, if you want to add a new disk, we have to give name, what the disk type is, source image, indication of whether to delete disk or not, and how the encryption keys will be managed. This is if we want to add a new disk. If we attach an existing disk, read, write and create. Then we have networking. On the networking tab, you can see the network interface information, including the IP address of a virtual machine. This. If you have multiple networks, you have the option of adding another network interfaces to that other network. This use of dual network interfaces can be useful if you are running the same type of proxy or server that act as a control of some traffic between the networks. Then in additional configuration, we have sole tenancy. If you need to ensure that your virtual machines run on a server only with your other virtual machines, we have to attach this sole tenancy. So these are all the configurations of a virtual machine. So in our two classes, we have discussed how to create a virtual machine and its configuration details. Thank you.